This is going over worksheet 8-6. It says solve the following quadratic equation by factoring. That's going to be one of the things that you guys are going to need to pay attention to on your tests, is to how they're asking you to solve it. If it was your EOC, you could solve it many different ways in order to find your answer. But right now, when we go through to grade your standards, I have to be able to see that you're able to factor. Where's my pen? There it is. So factoring. So first off, before you can factor, the first thing you need to do is set this into what? Equals 0, which is standard form. So I need to move the x's and the 30 over. So I'm going to add 27x to each side. I'm going to have 6x squared plus 27x equals negative 30. I'm going to add 30 to each side. I get, I'll write it here, 6x squared plus 27x plus 30 equals 0. Remember, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. The first thing you go through and do is see, is there a GCF? Can you pull out a GCF? 3 goes into all of them. So if I pull a 3 out, divide each term by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, so I have 2x squared. 27 divided by 3, 9x. 30 divided by 3 is 10. Now you are going to put inside the box this right here that's inside this parentheses. So over here, here's my box. In the upper left-hand corner is 2x squared. Bottom right is plus 10. Something x, something x. I got to figure out what to do. Well, first off, a is 2, b is 9, c is 10. You take a times c. 2 times 10 is 20. I need the factors of 20 that give me 9. Well, remember, you can go to y equals and put in there 20 divided by x, and it'll list your factors. But the factors are going to be positive 4 and positive 5. It does not matter where I put the 4 and the 5, other than it has to be in one of these two boxes. It doesn't matter if I put the 4 up here or the 5 down here. Now, 2x squared splits up as 2x times x. It does matter where you put the 2x. So you need to look and see, what is the GCF out of those two boxes? It is a 1x. So if the 1x goes here, what goes above it? 2x. Now, x times what gives you 5x? Plus 5. 2x times what gives you 4x? Plus 2. Now, the factors are x plus 2 times 2x plus 5. This is that equation in factored form, but it's not my intercepts yet. To find your solutions in your intercepts, we've got to set that equal to 0. So I have x plus 2 equals 0, and 2x plus 5 equals 0. So I'm going to subtract 2 from each side. X equals negative 2. That's one of my solutions. Subtract 5 from each side. I get 2x equals negative 5. Divide by 2. X equals negative 2.5. So that's where it crosses, in those two places. If they asked you to describe the solutions, if they asked you to describe it, one way you could do that is to say that there are two negative roots. Because there's two solutions and they're both negative. The next one. question was you don't put the, what, 3? Oh, I lied. You know what? No, I didn't lie. The factored form, if I had to write it, you're right. The 3 should have gone right there, right? But it doesn't. Okay, so in factored form, the 3 should have gone there, but it does not change my roots. Okay, but it does change the answer in factored form. Where it says x-intercepts, that's what's in these boxes right here. This is factored form. I would have gotten it wrong because I would have had to have the 3 in there for factored form. Next one on number 2. First thing it has to be is in standard form. So I need to move the 5x to each side, and I get 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 0. Now, to factor it, I need to find, is there a GCF? No, there is not. So I can go ahead and make my box. And in the upper left-hand corner goes 2x squared, bottom right, negative 3, something x, something x. A is 2, B is negative 5, C is negative 3. A times C, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. You need the factors of negative 6 that give you negative 5. It's going to be 1 and negative 6. Now, again, it doesn't matter where you put them. I'll put the 1 here and the negative 6 here. I know that 2x squared, though, splits up as 2x times x. So I need one of these two over here to the side. So out of these two boxes, what is the GCF? It is a 2x. So that means the x goes up here. 2x times what gives you negative 6x? Negative 3. X times what gives you 1x? Plus 1. All right, so now the factored form is 2x plus 1 times x minus 3 equals 0. To find my intercepts, though, I need to set these in the parentheses equal to 0. 2x plus 1 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. Well, this one tends to be the easiest right here because I just add 3 to each side. X equals 3. So one of my intercepts is 3, 0. This one here, subtract 1 from each side. 2x equals negative 1. Divide by 2. X equals negative 1/2. The other one is negative 1/2, 0, or negative 0.5. Now, what if I asked you to describe the solutions? And first you would want to tell me, if I asked you to describe it, 2 solutions, and you could say that one is positive and one is negative. Okay, that's just if we had to describe it, which hint, hint, you'll probably have to do that. Number 3. If you're doing the video, pause it and then come back and see how you do. On number 3, the first thing you need to do is set it equal to 0. Always. So I add 3x to each side. Now be careful here because there's already an x on the left-hand side. I have x squared and then 12 and 3, 15x plus 36 equals 0. First step is there a GCF? No, there is not because it's just an x squared. So I'm going to start here, make my box. What goes in the upper left-hand corner? X squared. Bottom right, plus 30. Something x, something x. Well, Oh, because I can't read my own writing. Yes, thank you. It's 36. Whoop. There we go. Plus 36. That might make our answer better. Okay. A is 1. B is 15. C is 36. A times C. 1 times 36 is 36. I need the factors of 36 that give me 15. Let's see. I think it's, yeah, you have to have 15. It's got to add up to give you this number right here. Okay? You need to, it's 15 because 12 plus 3 gives us 15. So the factors of 36, you can go through and y equals 36 and y1, 36 divided by x. It will list your factors. It should be 3 and 12, right? The mistake that will happen on the test, you will forget to add this 3 with the 12 and get a 15 right here. So I have 3 and 12. Now this one's easy to split up because x squared only splits up as x and x. X times what is 12x plus 12? X times what is 3x plus 3? So factored form is x plus 3 times x plus 12 equals 0. That's factored form. Now that's going to help us find our roots. Remember, roots are the same as solutions, as the same as x-intercepts. So I'm going to take x plus 3, set it equal to 0. X plus 12, set it equal 0. Subtract 3. X equals negative 3. So I have negative 3, 0. Minus 12. X equals negative 12. Now, another thing I want to point out to you is this. Your solutions can be written, some of you guys are not paying attention because this will be important. You'll get confused on the test. Some of your solutions will be just written like this. Some of them will be written in ordered pairs. Or they can write them like this. They'll use the squiggly set notation. I can't ever draw those. And they'll label them negative 3 and then negative 12. And they'll put them in that set notation. Those are 3 different ways that they possibly could label how your intercepts are written. Okay? Number 4. Okay, pause the video and try and do this one. What we're going to do, we have to put it into standard form. So we need to add 3x squared to each side. I get 7x squared plus 19x equals 6. I need to subtract 6 from each side. 7x squared plus 19x minus 6 equals 0. Now it is in standard form. Okay, so to factor it though, I need to look. Is there a GCF? Is there a number that goes into 7 into 6 that's the same? Nope. So I'm going to go straight to the box. And I put in there 7x squared. Down here is negative 6. Something x, something x. Let's see here. A is 7. B is 19. C is negative 6. A times C is negative 42. 7 times negative 6. I need the factors of negative 42. Let's see. You can put into y1 negative 42 divided by x. If I go through and do that, let's find my calculator. There it is. Okay, if I go into y equals, put in there negative 42 divided by x. I need it to equal, oh my, 19. I heard somebody say it in here. Negative 20 something? Oh, wait, let me go back here. Negative 2 and positive 21. If you add those two together, it gives you positive 19. So I have, well, let me erase this part right here. Negative 2. So I have negative 2 and positive 21. Negative 2, positive 21. Now, 7x squared, the only way it can split up is 7x times x. Out of these two boxes right here, what's the GCF? 7x. So that means the x goes up here. 7x times what gives you 21x? Plus 3. X times what gives you negative 2? X. Negative 2. So factored form, 7x minus 2 times x plus 3 equals 0. That's factored form. To find my roots, I'm going to set it equal to 0. So I subtract 3 from each side. X equals negative 3. Add 2 to each side. 7x equals 2. Divide by 7. X equals 2/7. Leave it in that fraction. So, one of the ways you can write your solution is this right here. Another way is negative 30, oops, and 2/7. 0. Oh, go away. There we go. That's another way. I want to make sure you know that it could be in set notation where it says negative 3, comma, 2/7. That means the same thing as well. That's telling you that these are your two solutions. Okay, I want you to be able to identify that. Okay, right now, take a minute and do number 5. Okay, so now on number 5, first off, is it in standard form? Yes, it is. It's equal to 0. Second thing, is there a GCF? No. So now I can actually go straight to the box. And in the upper left-hand corner is 8x squared. Bottom right is 1. Something x, something x. A is 8. B is 6. C is 1. A times C. 8 times 1 is 8. The factors of 8 that give you 6 is 4 and 2. I'll put the 4 here and the 2 here. It doesn't matter. I know that 8x squared is going to split up as 8x and x, or 4x and 2x. Right here, out of these two boxes, what is the GCF? What is in right here? 2 goes into 2 and 2 goes into 8. So 2x, no, now don't divide these and put it here. It means what number does, because 4 doesn't go into 2. See, if I had a 4x right here, 4 times what gave you 2? All right, because you have to use it to multiply. So look here and see, does 2 go into 8? Yes. Then put it outside. So right here, out of these two, the 4x goes up here. 2x times what gives you 2x? Plus 1. 4x times what gives you 4x? Plus 1. So factored form is 2x plus 1 times 4x plus 1 equals 0. That's factored form. To find your roots, 2x plus 1 equals 0, and 4x plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1 from each side. 2x equals negative 1. Divide by 2. X equals negative 1/2. Subtract 1 from each side. 4x equals negative 1. Ooh, what am I writing here? Equals negative 1. Divide by 4. X equals negative 1/4. Okay, so we can write it like that, or negative 1/2, 0, and negative 1/4, 0. Or again, in set notation, negative 1/2, negative 1/4. If they ask you to describe the solutions, it has two negative solutions. Now, let's go back here for a second. We'll come back to those three problems. Let's look at these. It says, name your zeros of each function from the graph or table given. First off, when they ask you for zeros, what are they asking you for? They're asking you for solutions or x-intercepts. They all mean the same thing. Well, right here, it crosses at negative 3, and it crosses at 1. That's all they're looking for. The next one, not too difficult right here. It's negative 3 and negative 2. Number 11. In a table, how can you find your solutions? The y has to be 0. So I have it here and here. One of the most common mistakes is that people will tell me that one of the solutions is 18. What is this right here? It's not a solution, but what is it? It's a y-intercept. Okay? Your solutions, we're looking for x-intercepts. So I have x is 3 and x is 6. That's all you have to do on those. Okay, let's go back. Oh, come on. There we go. This time it asks you to solve it with the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay. Before you can find a, b, and c, what does your equation have to be in? Standard form. It is in standard form. So a is 4, b is negative 1, c is negative 3. This says the opposite of b. B is negative 1, so the opposite is positive 1 plus or minus the square root b squared. Negative 1 squared. Make sure that negative is inside the parentheses. Minus 4 times a is 4, times c is negative 3. All over 2 times a is 4. Now, you need to put in the calculator, find out what is underneath the square root sign. So I'm going to have 1 plus or minus the square root, and I don't know what that is. 2 times, hey, don't forget to multiply these two. 2 times 4 is 8. All right, let's see what's in the underneath the square root sign. So I go here, and I have parentheses, negative 1 squared minus 4 times 4 times negative 3. And I press enter. It is 49. So underneath the square root sign goes 49. Now, my two roots I'm going to be looking for is 1 plus the square root of 49 divided by 8, and 1 minus the square root of 49 divided by 8. Okay, well, let's see what those are. 1 plus square root of 49, enter, gives you 8. Divided by 8, One of your solutions is 1. So this right here, x equals 1. So one of them is going to be 1, 0. The other one, it says x minus, not x minus, sorry, 1 minus the square root of 49. Press enter. Divided by 8 gives me negative 0.75. Now, just to remind you, what if I wanted to change that to a fraction? How could I do that? What buttons? Math, enter, enter, and it'll change it to a fraction for me. It doesn't matter which one you use, but the reason why I say that is because the EOC could have it in fraction or decimal. X equals negative 0.75. It could be negative 0.750 or negative 3/4 0. Either way. Let's go and look at the next one. All right, first off, is it in standard form? No. Let's fix it. Subtract 8x from each side. 3x squared minus 8x plus 1 is 0. Now it's in standard form. X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I always sing it now, whenever I say it. Okay. A is 3, B is negative 8, C is 1. Okay, the opposite of B is negative 8. So now it becomes positive 8. Plus or minus the square root. B squared, negative 8 squared, minus 4 times A times C. All over 2 times A. Whoops, A is 3. There we go. Now that I have it set up in there, go ahead and take a minute and finish this out and find this root. And then find your answer to number 8, which is all that is on this worksheet. So we need to now go and put what's underneath the square root sign in the calculator. I have negative 8 squared minus 4 times 3 times 1, and I press enter. That gives me 52. So I have 52 underneath the square root sign. So let me move this down a little bit. 8 plus or minus the square root of 52. 2 times 3 is 6. Well, so now I have 8 plus the square root of 52 divided by 6, and 8 minus the square root of 52 divided by 6. So let's do the addition one first. So move my calculator over here. Oh, it always goes like that. Let's see here. I have 8 plus the square root of 52, enter, divided by 6, enter. So we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So this 5 rounds that 3 up to a 4, so I have 2.54. So one of them is x equals 2.54. The next one, I'm going to take 8 minus the square root of 52. Press enter. Divided by 6. Press enter. Well, that's a 1 back there at the thousands, so this is 0.13. So my other one would be x equals 0.13. So you could have it written, the solutions could be written like this, where it just says x equals. We also could have it written as, in those little set notations, 2.54 and 0.13. Or remember, they could be written as ordered pairs, 2.540 and 0.130. And if I asked you to describe the solutions, you could say that there were 2 positive solutions. Okay, the last one on this worksheet right here. First off, I have to put it into standard form. So I need to move the 2x, so I'll subtract 2x from each side. I get x squared minus, now negative 2 and negative 2 is minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. That's in standard form. Is there a GCF? No, there is not. So I'm going to make my box. Upper left-hand corner goes x squared. Bottom right is 4. Something x, something x. Well, let's see here. A is 1, B is negative 4, C is positive 4. A times C is 1 times 4, which is 4. I need the factors of 4 that give me negative 4. That's going to be negative 2 times negative 2. So now, how does x squared split up? X and x. X times what gives you negative 2x? Negative 1. X times what gives you negative 2x? Negative 1. So my factors are x minus 1 times x minus 1 equals 0. That's factored form. Or you could even write it as x minus 1 squared equals 0. Those both mean the same. To find my solutions, well, both of these are the same, so I can just do it once. I'll add 1 to each side. X equals 1. So my solution is 1, 0, or you just write it and we have 1. Now, if I asked you, these are the intercepts, solutions. If I asked you to describe my solutions, you would say that it had one positive solution. And you know what? I went through and I factored that, but we were supposed to use the quadratic equation, weren't we? So first off, we did this by factoring, which still gave us the right answer, which is true. This is the right answer. But let's go back and I'm going to show you how the quadratic equation can work for this as well. Oh, let me get all this erased. Let's go back up here and do the quadratic equation. Again, we subtracted 2x from each side, and we got x squared minus 4x plus 4 is 0. All right, my formula, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. A is 1, b is negative 4, c is 4. Okay, the opposite of b, opposite of negative 4 is positive 4, plus or minus the square root b squared, negative 4 squared, minus 4 times a is 1, times c is 4. All over 2 times a. Well, a is 1. Okay, so now let's do what's underneath the square root sign right here. So if I go to my handy dandy calculator, I have parentheses, negative 4 squared minus 4 times 1. Oops, go back here. Times 4. Press enter. Oh, I missed a parentheses, didn't I? There we go. Press enter. And it gives me 0 because this is a positive 16 minus 16. So this right here all goes away. So now I have 4 plus or minus 0 over 2. Well, plus or minus 0, that doesn't mean anything. All I have is 4 divided by 2, which is 2, which is what we just found a minute ago because our factors were x minus 2 times x minus 2 Now I'm confused a minute. I thought maybe we had minus 1. Maybe I'm just losing my mind here. So when we had x minus 2 equals 0, and we added 2 to each side, our solution was 2, 0. This is one positive solution.